Hello, hello. Welcome to today's session. I'm just going to wait a few minutes because it's just gone 10 o'clock. So I'll give it a little bit of time, wait for some people to join me. Okay, so if you're joining live, if you're catching up on the replay, enjoy. Today we're going to make some little strawberry keyrings. So what you'll need is a template like this, which I've printed off. It's on the blog if you need to grab it. I've got red felt, a bit of green, and then embroidery floss. I've got red, white, and green, and a sewing needle, little keyring, and a bit of toy stuffing so we make a squishy strawberry. Okay, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna flip you around, so just excuse the next week I'll just tie you that corner so it's not so awful. I'll just switch you around 1 minute. Better. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is cut out our template. So if you've already done this bit, I think I mentioned to a few people you can pre-cut your shapes before the workshop just to save time. But I'll do this bit now so that we're all starting at the same step. And if anyone's joining on the replay, you can just follow along with me. So I'm going to use paper scissors to cut out the little template here. So we're just going to cut these out. And then I'm going to cut out my felt as well. So just cut these out. And this makes such cute little strawberries. If you don't want to add the keyring bit at the end, you don't have to. That's like the very last step. So we've got a few of these little strawberries hanging around in the dollhouse and stuff. So they're cute. Just little bits to sew with your scraps. And cut out my little leaf as well. Doesn't have to be exact, just do your best. This one is a bit lopsided. I'm also a lefty, but I haven't got any left-handed scissors here. They're at home, so it's a little bit tricky for me to cut with my right hand. So just excuse my messy cutting. Yeah, it just takes a bit more concentration. There we go, just cutting around this, and then I'm going to cut out my felt. So if you've already cut out your templates, you can just go ahead and start cutting out your pieces. Has everyone gone friendship bracelet crazy after last week? I loved seeing all the photos of the bracelets popping up last Wednesday and Thursday after everyone had a chance to finish them. It was really cool. I just love that part of my job, just seeing what everyone's making and inspiring people to pick up. So ironically, my pink cushion is also strawberry, so it's a lot of strawberry action today. So I've cut out my template. I'm going to cut the strawberry piece first because that's the easiest. So I'm just going to use a pin to hold it in place. If you don't have a pin, you could just use a marker pen to just draw around to trace it. I'm just going to cut this out. Just hold my pieces together a bit. There we go, so I've got my little semicircle, and then I've got lots of red left over, so I'll use that for another project. Always keep my scraps. And next I'm going to cut out the little green leaf here. So just pop that in the middle. And we're going to cut that out. So the easiest way to cut these kind of leaves is to just cut down to the middle on each one. So just follow your leaf and just cut to the middle, and then that little triangle falls away. Just cut down to the middle. Yeah, my kids loved doing the ties. So I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I think Finn, my eldest, will join in next week's workshop because I have to bring him to work with me. So I think he will join for next week or the week after. He will make a few appearances this summer, but he just loved it. I thought it might be a bit mad to do tie-dye with such little kids, but we had 2 of us and 5 kids between us, and they all turned out amazing. It's kind of one of those crafts where it's okay if you like dribble a different color onto your t-shirt, because then it all just comes out like rainbow colored, and it was really a lot of fun. So. And the kids are all like, wear your tie-dye t-shirt today, I want to be matching. So it's really sweet. We're all matching. There we go, last little leaf. Cut that out. There we go. So, move my little scraps to the side. So what I've got now is a little strawberry leaf and my little red bit. So I'll put my templates off to the side. If you want to make more strawberries later, just keep them in a little folder or something, ready to use another time. And so the first step, maybe I'll wait a minute if you're cutting out. Maybe just let me know if you're ready to go or you're still cutting. I'll just get my needle threaded. So the first step will be sewing on the little white seeds. So I'm just going to get my white thread ready to go. Whoops. So I don't think this will take us the full hour. So just a nice little sewing project. And then next week we're going to make little mini donuts, and my mini donut sample is on the kitchen table at home. So sorry I forgot that. But I've got my pieces cut out ready for next week. So this is about the size of the donut we're going to make. So we're just going to embroider, like the strawberries, embroider some little sprinkles on and then just stitch it together. And then actually that would make a really good little pink cushion. So we're going to make little donuts next week. And if you want to grab a material kit, if you could order today or tomorrow, because I won't be posting any orders on Thursday and Friday this week. So I want to make sure it comes in the mail on time. So if you're planning to join live, yeah, if you could order today or tomorrow, then I can make sure it gets on its way to you over the weekend. How many strands are you using for the seeds? All 6. No, I'm just going to use the white for the seeds. So I've just got some white embroidery floss. And I always double the thread, especially when I'm sewing with kids, because then they don't have to worry about the tail coming off the needle. So I've just doubled it, and my thread is 2 meters long. So I won't need all of it. I just wanted to make sure I gave a little bit of extra. Oh, all 6, because maybe you're using 6-stranded embroidery floss. That's probably what you mean. I'm not using 6-stranded. If you've got a 6-strand embroidery floss, maybe split it so you've got 3 and 3. So it'll be 6 in total, but it's not like doubled 6-strand embroidery floss. So I'm using, it's called Sewcial embroidery floss. It's a bit thinner, so it's better for like doubling, but it's also from DMC. I stock it in the shop in, I think I'm at 12 colors or 10 colors, something like that. But that's what it looks like. So it's just a thicker sewing thread. Yeah, so I'm going to tie my knot at the end. Hopefully that answers your question. So to tie my knot, I'm just going to wrap it once around my finger and then just roll it off and pull. and it makes a nice big knot at the end of my thread. So I'll do that one more time for you to see. So that's a little trick I learned when I was little, and I still use it every time I sew. So just wrapping it one time around my Peter pointer, and I'm rolling it off my fingers and pulling, and then it makes a nice big knot there. Okay, so I'll just wait a minute so everyone can catch up and grab another sip of coffee. Okay, so I'm going to start stitching my seeds. So these are just little straight stitches scattered around my little strawberry, which will end up being like kind of like this. So I'm going to stitch them straight up and down. Now it doesn't matter where you start, yeah, just anywhere. And I'm going to kind of work my way in like this direction, like in a fan, if that makes sense. Just because of the way that the strawberry, but it doesn't matter as long as they're kind of up and down. It won't really matter. So I'll do a couple there. Always start from the back. So I've just gone up and down, up and down. If your tail is in the front, then you go down in the front and just pull all the way. So that's what it looks like in the back. I'm just hopping down. Maybe I'll do one here. You don't have to cover it like in loads and loads of seeds if you don't want to, but yeah, you can just kind of do them randomly, as many as your thread allows, I guess. So just do some at the top. And then you want to try to make your stitches. Sorry, I'm on school. Yeah, after I explained it, then I was like, oh, she probably means the other embroidery floss, just because I had 3 colors, and I was like, oh no. Yeah, it's all good. Just, however, as long as it's like thick enough that you can see the stitches, that's why. I find with sewing with kids, like the regular like sewing machine thread, it's too thin and it gets all twisted and tangled and knotted before they even have a chance to really sew with it. So I stopped using it years ago, and I found this instead, and it works really well. It's kind of that medium between the 6-strand embroidery floss and like sewing thread. It's just a bit thinner, so yeah, I like to work with it more now. So I'm just working my way across, keeping an eye on my thread so I don't run out. I have to make sure I get some seeds on this side as well. So maybe I do one more here. And just work my way across. I think I might leave a bit more space between my seeds so I don't run out. There we go. Oops. So we're just making some nice little dashes with our thread, and those will be our little strawberry seeds. So our strawberry is quite worn out because that's the key that my son takes to lock his bike at school. So it's seen a lot of the bottom of the book bag this year, so it's well loved. But it's a good key ring because you can always spot it around the house when you're looking for the bike lock key. So it's a good one if you need a spare key or something that you're not going to lose. You just look for the strawberry. I'm nearly done. I do have quite a bit of thread, so I think I'll just go back and fill in some of the gaps. There we go. So I've got a gap over here. So I'll just do one here. And just make sure it's sits nice and flat, so you're not pulling it too tight between your stitches so it bunches up. You want to make sure it's nice and flat. So I'm just going to fill in what I've missed, because I don't have anything else to sew with the white, so I'll just add a few more little seeds, and that's good to go. Do a few more at the top here. There we go. How's everyone's little strawberries looking? Very seedy. Do some along this edge. And there we go. Maybe a couple more. Okay, I think that I am done there. So, ooh, look at the back. So don't worry about what the back looks like. I'm going to finish off my thread. So if you're done, you're ready to go on to the next step. Because we've used a double thread, there's a few different ways you can finish off your sewing. You can either just cut it, leaving a bit of a tail, and tie a double knot here. Or you can pick up a little bit of felt and do 2 little knots. So I'll show you how to do the second way, because the first way I think is quite self-explanatory. You just tie a double knot. So if you're doing the second method, you're just picking up a bit of felt but not going all the way through. So just a little bit, and instead of pulling it all the way, you're just going to send your needle through that loop and pull, and it makes a little knot. And I'm just going to do it 2 times in the same place. So I'm not pulling all the way. I'm just going to send my needle through the loop and pull, and it makes a nice little knot. And then I can cut my thread like that. So I still have a bit of white left over, so I'll just put that to the side. I always need little scraps of thread when I'm doing samples and things like that, so I keep that to the side. And then the next thread we're going to use is the red. So I'm going to get my needle ready. So just sending my thread through the needle. Then I'm going to do that special knot trick again. So I'm just wrapping once around and then rolling my thread off. And I've got, again, quite a bit of thread, so you won't need all of it. And so just wait a minute. So with this step, we're going to stitch our strawberry together. So I'm going to fold it in half. And then what we're going to do is do an over stitch up this straight edge to attach it together like that. And then we're going to do a running stitch around the top edge so that we'll be able to cinch it together after we turn it inside out. Well, right side out. So it's inside out now. And then we're going to turn it right side out. And then we'll fill it, cinch it together, and then sew on the little leaf. So I'm going to start with this. If you're watching the replay and you need to pause, just press pause. And hopefully everyone is more or less following along on the live. So because we're going to turn this the other way, you can just start right at the bottom with your knot. So this will be on the inside of our strawberry, so I don't need to worry about that. And then I'm going to do the overstitch. Now with the overstitch, here I'll do it with my right hand. I guess most of you will be right-handed. So with the overstitch, you just need to remember to sew up through both layers and pull, and that will wrap the thread around the edge, so it'll make sure we don't lose any of our stuffing. So I'm just going to go up through both layers, near the edge, and pull up through both layers and pull. You're going to make sure your thread is wrapping on that side. And we're just going to go up along this straight edge of the strawberry. So once you fold it in half, you'll have a straight edge there. And we're just going to stitch with the overstitch along here. And that's a really nice strong stitch for doing any sort of edging, that sort of thing. There we go. So I'm just working my way up along the edge. Just keeping my stitches nice and close together, not too far apart because I don't want to lose any of the stuffing out of the sides. So just nice small little stitches. There we go. And just make sure you're always going through both layers of the felt. There we go. So I'm going to do one more stitch right at the corner because I want to make sure that's nice and strong. So I've done the overstitch all the way up to this corner. And then what I'm going to do next is push my strawberry inside out, or right side out. So I've got my nice little stitched edge there, and I'm going to start, I've got my nice little cone shape. So we've nearly got a strawberry. So the next step will be to do a small little running stitch around the edge here. Then we're going to stuff the strawberry and then pull our thread to cinch it close so it'll close up on itself. Then we're going to secure that, and then it's just a matter of sewing on the little leaf on the top and stitching on the little keyring bit. So I'm going to get some stuffing ready. So I'm using 100% sheep's wool toy stuffing like I do in all my workshops. So I use this because it's biodegradable and 100% natural. So same with the felt. I use only viscose and wool felt, so that later, long time from now, all the sewing projects will break down, whether they end up in landfill or somewhere else. It's just good to make sure we're always using natural fibers instead of polyester, so that all of our projects will break down at the end of their lifetime. So I've got the wool stuffing ready to go, and I'm going to start to do my little running stitch along the top. So just bring my thread to the outside edge here. And then I'm just going to start with the running stitch. So make your stitches a little bit longer, so a bit longer than a grain of rice. And I'm just going to go in and out, in and out. Nice and close to the edge. So that's the good thing about using felt, is that it won't fray or anything like that. So nice and close to the edge. Work my way around. And you won't see these stitches later. And they're just to kind of close the top of the strawberry. So just work my way around. So you want to leave a gap about the same length as your stitch, and you can already see if I pull that shut, it's going to start to cinch my strawberry closed. So just keep going with that. And just work your way around the top edge of your strawberry. There we go. And I'm nearly there, and I want to just make sure that my thread ends on the outside. So do one more stitch so that it's ending on the outside. So I've got my little running stitch, and you can see if you pull it, it will start to pull the strawberry in. So we want to make sure now that we stuff our strawberry. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of stuffing, stuff it all the way down to the bottom so that it's nice and full at the bottom, and I add a little bit more. You don't need very much stuffing for these projects because it's just little strawberries. But you do want it to be quite full and firm. So I'm going to try and see if I can get all of this stuffing in there. Because we want nice, plump, ripe strawberries. And I think if I pull it, I think that's pretty good. I can get a little bit more in the top bit. So I'm just going to try stuffing that in and then cinching it shut. Make sure we've got nice full strawberries. Stuff it in there. There we go. And I can actually pull it all the way till it's nice and tight there. So the next thing I'm going to do is just hold that. Where's my needle? And I'm just going to stitch across. So I'm going to do a few stitches just in like a star, just across the top of the strawberry to secure it so it stays nice and tight. So I'm going to go across now. And it doesn't matter where you come up, it's just to secure it. So you do a few more. If you've got any little folds sticking out, just grab those. I've got one here and one there. So you have to just try and make like a star shape across the top of your strawberry to secure everything in place. So I think that looks pretty good. I'll just do a couple more to make sure it's all secure. Maybe one more this way because that little fold looks like it's sticking out a bit. And this will all be covered with our little leaf, so don't worry, you won't actually see that bit. That's just to make sure it's nice and secure, like that. Okay, and then we're going to just fasten our thread in the same way that we did before with the white. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the felt, and before I pull it all the way through, I'll just send my needle back through that little loop and pull tight to make a knot. So just pick up a little bit of thread. Again, I always do it 2 times. And before I pull it tight, I'm just going to send my needle through that little loop. And then to cut my thread, I'm just going to pull it down to the side, and then I can actually just cut that bit off. And there is our little strawberry. So first step is done. That's like a really really good firm strawberry. I've got tons of red left over, so I'll just move that to the side. And we are ready for the last step, which is to stitch on the green. So I'm going to get my green thread on my needle next. So this is the last step. So we're going to stitch on the green. This is probably the trickiest part, just to warm you up to it. We're going to stitch on the green bit and then sew on the little, got the little key ring bit ready to go. So I'm going to stitch that on. Oops. Try that again. So there we go. So I wrapped it once around and then I just roll it off and pull to make my little knot. How is everyone doing so far? Have we got some little strawberries, or you're still doing the stuffing or the red stitching across the top? I know there's not too many people watching live, so. There we go. These are really cute. I'm going to be able to have my own little key ring after this. The kids always take everything good that I make. Okay, ready to start with the green. So we're just going to center our little green leaf bit on the center of our strawberry at the top here. Just finishing the gather. All right, Claire. Good, good. Nice, nice. So that's where it's going to go. So I'm going to start stitching on the green. I'll just wait another few moments. I'm really loving these little workshops. It's good. It keeps me also sewing all summer long and making stuff. So next week is the donuts, and then week 4 is pom-pom headbands. So I've got one here. This is actually the very first pom-pom hairband I made years ago. Many, many years ago. So it does need a bit of a trim, but we're going to make pom-poms. So that week 4, it says pom-pom headbands, but it will basically just be a little pom-pom masterclass. And then I'll show you at the end of the class just how to attach them to a little headband if you want to have some little pom-pom crowns for going to festivals. I saw all the pics from Camp Festival this week and it looked so good. And then week 5 will be little moon purses, and week 6 will be a tassel masterclass. I say masterclass. It will be a tassel skill learning class to make little tassel necklaces. But in the same way with the pom-poms, you can just learn how to make the tassels and use them in any way on your own little projects and stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks. Okay, so I'm going to start stitching on my green. So with the green, what we're going to do is just start in the middle, and we're just going to do just straight long stitches. So I'm going to stitch down to this leaf and send my needle back through to the middle, stitch down to the edge of this leaf, back up through to the middle, stitch down, and we keep going around, one stitch on each little leaf. So I'm going to come up near the middle for my first one. So I've got my little knot in the back, and I'm just going to hold it down. This is the fiddliest bit, so yeah, just try your best, but it is a bit fiddly. So I'm going to go down near the edge of the leaf, and I just push my needle back up towards the middle. And I'm just going to pull that. Pull that tight. Okay, so I've got my next one. So I'm just going to stitch down near the tip of the leaf and then just sew back up. Just make sure you're getting a chunk of the strawberry underneath so it can secure itself to that. So I've got 2 done. Then my next one, just stitch down to the edge. Oops. Send it back up. There we go. And if you need to do a couple stitches, it's fine. I'm just trying to do 1 stitch per little leaf. So just stretch your little leaf down to grab it and back up again. Oops, I keep getting some little twists, so just pull your thread. And there we go. So I've got 3 more. So I've done 4. I've got 3 more little leaf stitches to do. So I'm just going down near the edge and going back up. So my next one, and just work your way around your little strawberry. You don't have to go all the way up. Okay. And just pull that nice and tight. So I'm on my last little leaf here. Just go down and up. And that's how you attach your leaves to your strawberry. So what I'm left with is a nice little strawberry. So if you don't want to add a keyring to your little strawberry fruit, you could just finish it off at the top here. But we're going to add a little keyring. So just to repeat again, for the leaf, you just put your thread up from the bottom to start, place it on the top of the strawberry, and then we're just doing 1 big long stitch. So pull your needle down to the tip of the leaf, send it back up to the center, tip to the leaf, back up to the center. It is quite, that's the trickiest bit, is getting the needle back up to the center, because it's a lot of felt and stuffing at the top there. But if you can manage, then you'll just have 1 little stitch per leaf. And then the last bit of the workshop is to sew on the little keyring. So my thread was not in the center, so just move that up to the center. And then this part is super easy, so don't need to worry about that. So because mine's got a little lobster clasp, I'm just going to stitch on the ring. So I'm going to hold that. And I'm just going to sew over and over and over again in the same spot, just to create a little holder. So I want to make sure it's nice and strong. So I just sew around this little ring over and over again. So I just hold it in place and just go around, pick up a little bit of felt, and come up in the center of the ring and just go around and around like that, so that it will be nice and strong for years of key holding. So you can clip it to your bag. You don't have to put a key on it. It can just be like a little bag charm. All the kids at the playground all have so many little charms hanging off their bags, don't they? So you can just add one of these to the mix. There we go. So I've done that 7 or 8 times, so it's nice and secure, nice and strong. And now I'm ready to tie off my thread. So I'm just going to wrap that just around the top there a couple times. And then I guess you have a few different choices here. You can either do the same knot that we did before, so just picking up a bit of the felt, tying the knot, or you can just cut it and tie a nice tight double knot. So I'm going to pick up the thread because or pick up the felt because it's a little bit stronger. So just pick that up and just send my needle through my little loop there. Do that one more time. And then just make sure, just pull both because one looks a bit loose, pull both. And then just to finish it off, I'm going to send my needle through my strawberry to hide the little tails. So make sure that's pulled. And I can cut that down here. And that just gets hidden inside the strawberry. So my little tails are hidden inside. And the top of my strawberry is nice and secure, so I still have quite a bit of green left from that as well. And then this is the finished little strawberry key ring, ready to get clipped onto a little bag or have a little key added to it, ready to go. How did that go for everyone? I think a few of you might be just finishing up. I wanted to make sure I definitely didn't go over, so I kind of went a bit quicker at the end there. But that's how you make the little strawberries. So you could do, you could make your own little fruit basket and just add little strawberries to it to have some decorations. Like I said, we've got quite a few just hanging out in our dollhouse. So it's good for like role play, or if your kids have like a play kitchen as well, or like if you know younger kids, like more toddler age. For one of my friends' son's birthday, I made a whole bunch of felt fruit for his play kitchen. So the strawberries are a really cute little like addition if you want to give like a handmade gift to someone as well. Make some cute little strawberries. So there we go. Just gonna, if anyone has any questions, just let me know, or just drop them in the comments later if you're watching it back. Just drop them in the comments. Quite often hanging out in the group or on social media. So quite available to answer any questions and stuff. But I hope that you enjoyed that. You love your little strawberries. I'd love to see a pic of them if you want to just add them in the comments. I'd love to see them. That's it for me today. It was a short one today. Like I said, next week it's going to be the little mini donut. So we're going to learn more overstitch. So this one will be more overstitch, and we'll just make the little sprinkles with thread. So that'll be a cute little project if you want to join. Have a great rest of your day and cannot wait to see your little strawberries. Take care. Bye.